time no see. How is everybody? I'm great. Oh my goodness, you guys. Okay, I'm here to do something I haven't done in a while. I am here to do a reading on a case of a missing young lady. This case was actually brought to my attention from somebody I'm sure all of you guys out there know. Her name is Crystal Aberg, aka Dark Rose. She recently released a little video on this, and we did some talking, and she said it would be amazing if I would do a reading on it. And I decided to see if Spirit would let me tap in. Took a couple days, but I did end up tapping in and getting quite a bit. So I feel drawn to do this case, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to do a reading, and I'm going to show you guys some sketches that I got. I did a channeling late last night on this, and I got some stuff. So I want to share that too. But before I do any of that, I want to give you a little history or just a little bit of information that I got out of public domain for about this girl. First of all, I want to say before I start this, everything in this video, unfortunately, I have to say this, is for entertainment purposes only. Educational, entertainment, I'm just trying to help. I don't get anything out of this. I don't receive funds. I don't receive recognition. I don't ask for that. I just feel like if I'm able to tap in to this energy and bring anything to the forefront, that it is my duty to do that. So that's what I'm here to do. Everything I am going to present to you today is being brought to you through information I gleaned off of public domain, sketches that I drew from images that I received in my own mind during a trance meditation, a couple of them. And whatever I interpret out of the cards, whatever cards I decide to use. And I possibly may go ahead and use my pendulum as well. We'll see how it goes. So this case is about a girl named Jennifer Joyce Kesse. And I'm just going to, real quickly before I start, I'm going to say that only beings of love and light and high vibration are allowed to be in this area with me. This is my sacred protected space, and only beings of love and light and high vibrational energy. Please interact with me. I'm asking for my spirit guides. I'm asking for the ancestors, the guides, divine source creator to come in this moment, protect me with your beautiful loving white light. And anybody who's watching this video. Now, I do have to say that although there are some dark aspects of this story, I kind of think that, well, I think there's two perpetrators, and I kind of think one of them's already in jail. The other one I think may have fled the country. So I'm going to put that out there. This is a dark case because of what happened, but it doesn't involve a lot of dark energy, so like some of the cases do nowadays. So I felt a little safer in working this case because of that reason, although I did get some pretty nasty images. So, okay, let me go ahead and read to you what I've got here. Okay, so, all right, it's been 17 years since Jennifer Joyce Kesse, at the time 24 years old, disappeared in Orlando, Florida. She was last seen January 24th, 2006, at her condominium called the Mosaic at Millennia Complex. She worked for Central Florida Investments. She had a very good job where she made good money. She had just purchased a condominium in a building that was being renovated, a building that was being converted from like apartments to luxury condominiums. So they were getting rid of the tenants as they would move out. They weren't allowing more tenants to move in. They were renovating each apartment and turning it into a luxury condo, and then they were purchasing them. Now, Jennifer, so I got to add that in this, it was a couple of buildings, but in these buildings, about half of them were being constructed still, and there weren't a whole lot of them that were occupied by tenants. She was the first person to actually purchase one of these condominiums. And her family was saying that there was issues with the condominium inside. There was things that had been kind of slacked on, like the trim hadn't been painted well, and there was like a list of things that she needed to have done. And it was said at one point that there were a lot of migrant type um, laborers that were being subcontracted um, by other licensed contractors who were working on these buildings, that were coming in and out of her condominium doing the work and things like that. And there was one phone call she had with her dad where she said she was very uncomfortable because these guys were in her house and she had needed to leave and go to work, and she didn't want to leave them in her house. And so the dad said, well, what needs to be done? Ask the guys just to leave the paint there. I will come do it. The guys wouldn't do it. So it was kind of a weird dynamic with that. Okay, so she, let's see, lost my place. Okay, she was the first one to buy one. Okay, so on January 23rd at 10 p.m., she had a brief phone call with her boyfriend, Rob, who lived 3 hours away in Fort Lauderdale. Now, she had just went on a vacation in St. Croix, I don't know. I can't say it very well. St. Croix with Rob. They had just returned back from a vacation that they had taken together. Jennifer and Rob were in a 1-year-long relationship. They met at a bar. He lived far away, so it was a long distance relationship the whole time that they dated, which caused a little bit of issues between them. And so they had, were always apart from each other, and both of them worked really hard. So they went on this vacation and they'd spent this time together. They had a fabulous time. And when they got back from the vacation, she spent the night at his house and went straight to work the next day from there. 3 hours away, she had to drive to get to work. So they were tired from the vacation, and she was tired from having to drive all the way that morning to go to work. She did her work day. So when she got home that night, she told Rob on the phone, I'm really tired. I'm just going to go to bed. And so it was a brief phone call around 10 a.m. at night. While she was on that phone call, Rob said that somebody knocked on her door. And she had said, I'm not going to answer the door. I think it's my neighbor coming to greet me now, knowing that I am home now. I think it's my neighbor, and I'm just too tired to talk to anybody right now, so I'm not even going to answer. And she continued on with her phone call with him, and then she hung up the phone, and that was the last conversation, the last person to speak to her. The last person to actually lay eyes on her was somebody from her work who saw her leaving the day before she was reported missing. Okay. Okay. She also had spoke to her family on the phone that night, her brother and other friends, briefly. I think she came home from work and just did her rounds. She was very connected with her family. They talked on the phone every day, multiple times a day sometimes. And I think she was just tired and making her rounds, calling everybody to say, hey, we're back from vacation. I worked today. I'm tired. I'm going to bed, that kind of thing. But she had very brief conversations with her family and her friends, and then her boyfriend. That was the last that anyone had heard from her. So, okay. So she didn't show up for work the next morning. And the CEO of the company she worked for was very good friends with her father. And he contacted her father to say, hey, Jennifer didn't show up to work today. This is not like her. She's never done this before, and nobody can get a hold of her. So the father, that sparked off a chain reaction, and everybody started looking, calling. Every phone call, every message went straight to voicemail. She didn't answer. Her boyfriend also said that every morning on her way to work, she would call him and say, hey, I'm up, I'm on my way to work. This is the kind of relationship they had to have because they were long distance. So the only way they could say good morning to each other was through quick phone calls. And they also would talk periodically, short conversations throughout the day. And her boyfriend, Rob, had said that he tried to call her first thing in the morning and she didn't answer. She did not call him like she normally did in the morning on her way to work. And every phone call and message that he sent to her that day, and there were several, went unanswered. Every phone call went to voicemail. straight to voicemail, meaning the phone was most likely shut off. Let's see. Okay, so when the family realized that they couldn't get a hold of her, and this was very unusual for her, they decided to call the manager of her building. Excuse me. And asked him if he would go check on her. At first, the manager was like, "No, I can't do that. I have to have somebody else with me. I'm not allowed to enter someone's apartment all alone, whatever." And so the dad's like, "Okay, I'll wait. Go get someone." So it took a few minutes. He went and got someone, came back. They went in together, and they didn't find anything abnormal or weird or out of place in the apartment whatsoever at all. They said that, it just looked like she'd gotten up and went to work. So the family drove 2 hours. They lived 2 hours away from Fort Lauderdale. From Orlando. Sorry. Fort Lauderdale is where the boyfriend lived, Rob. The family, I don't know exactly where the family lived, but they lived 2 hours away from Orlando, and they drove down as soon as they realized that they couldn't get a hold of her. And they came to her apartment. They went inside. Let's see. I'm losing my place here. Okay. There was evidence discovered by her family that she had gotten up, showered, laid out clothes. So what they found in the apartment was, right off the bat, right inside the front door, was a duffel bag that she had used for her vacation, just sitting there. So she was tired when she got home. She obviously hadn't unpacked it. She was tired that night. They also went in, they saw her. Normally she was very, very tidy and kept her place immaculate. And for the most part, it was that. Except for in her room. In her room, there was several outfits laid out over her bed. There was a wet towel hanging in her bathroom. There was actually still water in the shower. Behind like the shampoo bottles and stuff like that, there was still water. So it was quite obvious that she had taken a shower, laid out clothes. Her work shoes that she wore to work were missing. Her purse, her cell phone, all of that was gone. It looked like she had gotten up, gotten ready for work, and went to work. From there, nobody knows. One of the things that they did, I forgot to mention, they did ask the manager to do when they called and asked him to go check in her apartment, was they asked if her car was there. And the manager said, "No, her car is not here." So her car was gone and that was about noon in the day. So that was about when they noticed that the car was gone. Okay. Okay, so they found her car 2 days later. Is that right? Okay, I might be wrong on that time frame, but I think it was either 2 days, 1 or 2 days later, or maybe even 1 week later, but I don't think it was that long. They found her car in a guest parking spot at a parking lot for a different condominium complex a mile away from the Mosaic at Millennia, which is where she resided. They did not find any evidence in the car. They found one fingerprint on the steering wheel, which leads them to believe how could someone only put one fingerprint if it looked like it was wiped down. They saw a pair of flip-flops actually 2 pairs of flip-flops on the floor in the passenger side of the car. The thing about the flip-flops, so Jennifer worked a job where she had to look very nice, present herself to look very nice. She worked for an investment firm, so she did dress a little more high end, and she had some very expensive type heels and shoes that she would wear to work for meeting clients and things like that. And what she did was she had a practice of keeping a pair of flip-flops in her car and one in her house, and she would use those flip-flops to walk to her car, and then she would switch into her heels once she got to her car, because she didn't want to ruin her beautiful shoes walking. This place that she lived at was under construction still, so it was kind of a mess around there. And so the flip-flops were found in the car, which leads me to believe that if both pairs were found in the car, she made it from her apartment to her car. Okay, I feel she made it that morning from her apartment to her car. let's see. All right. So they did find the car, like I said, a mile away. One thing I'm going to mention is that it was spoken about her family said this. It was spoken that when they found the car, there was what looked like there was an outprint on the hood of the car, or I don't know what you'd call it. So an area where the dust had been disturbed, where it looked like maybe someone's body went over the top of the car, almost fingerprints pulling back. It looked like someone had been thrown onto the hood with their arms out like this, and then they were pulled backwards, and you could see like the fingerprints on the car. That was one thing that they noticed when they found the car, was that, which made it look like there was possibly a struggle in or around or near her car. So there was that. Also, guys, I gotta pop in here real quickly. While I was editing this video, I realized that I had forgotten a big piece of information that needs to be added in right here. So I did forget to mention that when her car was located, it was reported by somebody that it was seen there, and when it was located, they checked the video surveillance at the apartment condominiums where her car had been found, and the video surveillance did capture a video of a individual leaving her car and walking away. The problem with this footage is that because of the way that the cameras were made and where they took a picture every 3 seconds, as this person was walking away, they were in front of a gate. There was a gated community, and they were outside of the gate in the parking lot, walking away from the car, and every frame of every picture, every 3 seconds it takes a picture, every single frame, the person's face was obstructed by a pole from this fence, from this gate. So they do have video surveillance footage of an individual dropping her car off and walking away, but it is worthless as far as trying to see the face or identify the individual, other than the fact that they had went and researched and found out that this doing comparisons on the gate, on the poles, and where this person's head reached, this person was about 5'6" or 5'7", if that, at the most, tall. I'm gonna say I feel like he was more like 5'6", 5'5". This was a shorter individual. Okay, thanks for letting me interrupt. I wanted to mention. Okay, and the other thing, there was a couple who lived across the street or adjacent to the Mosaic at Millennium complex, and they reported to the police that the morning that she disappeared, they had actually seen, oh, by the way, her car was a little black car, okay? And they said that I can't remember the make and model of the car, I'm sorry. But they said that they saw the car coming out of the parking lot of the Mosaic at Millennia, and it was driving erratically, and they saw what they thought was people struggling on the inside of the car. Like the steering wheel was being grabbed or something. The car was doing something like this as it came out and went down the road. They did call the police. They did report this. So there was that. Okay. So now I'm going to talk. Okay, that's just a very brief synopsis of the case. There's so much more, but that's all that I gleaned and all I needed to for this. So I'm going to share with you some of the things I received in my channeling sessions. Okay, and I did actually connect with Jennifer, absolutely connected with Jennifer. And she spoke to me. So she showed me a few things, and I've got some sketches here to show you guys. And okay, so I'm just going to tell you. So in my channeling session, what I saw was Jennifer waking up startled. She was late. She woke up late. She slept in, which was not like her. She showed me, she got up, she was rushing around getting ready as fast as she can. She kind of left things laying around because that normally she would have cleaned up after herself, but she didn't have time. She was in a rush. She woke up, got ready, and she went out to her car. Okay. In her haste, she forgot something. She had went out to her car and she had unlocked it and she put her stuff in it, but she had forgot something because she showed me herself returning to her apartment. And I believe that when she returned to her apartment to get something that she had forgotten, and I'm telling you right now, I think it was a cell phone, because she showed me a purple-ish cell phone that looked like this. Okay. I think somebody got into her car after she unlocked it and went back to her condominium and came back. What she showed me was that she opened her car door and she threw her stuff in. She ran back up to her condominium and showed me herself coming back out and getting into the car, and someone coming from behind her in the seat behind her as she was driving out. Okay. So that is what she did show me. She also told me that this was a very spontaneous, this was a crime of opportunity, that this was somebody that she was familiar with, somebody that she had seen around the area quite a bit, somebody that she never felt threatened by before, maybe annoyed or kind of harassed a bit, but never felt threatened. And she also told me that they worked in partnership with somebody else, but it was one person who initiated it, who called in somebody else. Okay. All right. She, in the channeling, she showed me a scenario where, okay, so somebody was in another condominium looking out their window at what I assume was her condominium and saw men coming in and out at a time that they knew she wasn't there. She was gone. So what she was showing me was that there was two someones that had come in. I don't know if they were together when they did it, but she tells me it was two. There were two. It was always two. They work as a team. There were two. Someone's who were going into her apartment when she was not there. And it was seen by another neighbor. And that neighbor had brought it up with the guys. Hey, what are you doing in there? She's not even here. It may have been while she was on vacation, not sure. But it was kind of like that kind of a thing. And they were kind of like telling this person to mind their own business, or it was none of their business. They were doing work there, or they were allowed to be there, or something like that. It looked like that kind of an exchange that I was watching happen. Okay, I don't know why that was shown to me, what it was, so I'm mentioning it. Okay. She showed me the whole scenario of her getting in the car, her driving out, and then someone coming up from behind her. This person that came up from behind her held a knife to her throat as she was driving. The knife looked like this. This, to me, looks like a switchblade. So, I think that it was a switchblade knife, okay, which came in again later. Okay, she showed me what looked like a big key ring, about this big, a silver key ring, and it was full of keys that all looked pretty much the same. She showed me that came in. Also, she showed me a swampy area with some alligators in it. I kept hearing Spanish, very choppy, dirty Spanish, like slang type Spanish. Like, I can understand a little bit of Spanish, enough to get by. But this was different Spanish. This was more, what slang, like, very, it's hard to explain, but very, I'm not familiar with it, but you can tell it was Spanish, but it was like slang words maybe, or someone speaking Spanish. I heard that, and it was a conversation being made. It was not just one person speaking Spanish. It was a conversation being had. I was also shown what looked like a room, a condominium that was in the process of being renovated, but it was full of stuff that looked like maybe someone was staying there while they were renovating it. She showed me that as well. She showed me her. She showed me herself with her hands bound together, kind of like this. And she showed me what I thought was an orange rope at first. I was really paying close attention to that because I thought, what an odd color for rope. I now think that what it was an extension cord. She showed me that. She also showed me herself with tape across her mouth. Everything I say is for entertainment purposes only. Do your own diligent research, form your own opinions, take what I say with whatever resonates. But that is what I saw. I also saw I saw her on the ground with her legs taped, and her hands taped, and she was sitting with her knees pulled up to her chest. Her hands were taped, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Her hands were not taped. Her hands were bound by what looked like an extension cord. She had tape on her mouth. And, she'd been crying. She had makeup coming down her face. There was somebody there. They were emptying out her purse. They were going through her purse. And then I saw the purse be dropped on the ground next to her amidst all of the contents. Okay, so when I did connect with her, she feels like, okay, first of all, she is so grateful for her family. And I don't mean any disrespect to the family by doing this case. I'm only trying to help. But I do want to say that she is so grateful for her family. She knows that her family has never for 1 second given up hope or stopped looking for her or working towards a resolution, some kind of a closure or a resolution. She said that for a very long time, her family believed that she was still alive. And that was the hardest part for her because she wanted that closure for them. But I do pick her up in spirit, definitely. She tells me that there were 2 men that were involved in this. She said that one of them is already in jail for a different crime. One of them is not any longer in the country, but still out there free. I heard the words repeat offender, and that she's not the only one that this has happened to, but from this person. She was assaulted brutally. And I kept hearing the word, okay, this was the weirdest thing. I was being shown a can of chili. And I'm like, what in the heck? What is this? Okay. She was showing me a can of chili. And I'm like, okay, I noted it. I actually drew a little picture of it. And I'm like, somehow chili is involved. I don't know. To be honest, I was putting the chili in because chili is made out of beans and hamburger. I mean, I was thinking that this had to do with these Spanish-speaking individuals. That was my first assumption, that the chili was that. I have changed my mind. What I stumbled upon was quite startling. So I also was hearing the word goth. Now, I thought the person that did this maybe was goth individual. I'm sorry, I've got to move this out from behind me. I was thinking, well, okay, was this a gothic type individual, or is the person that did this into the goth lifestyle? Of course, that's what I'm going to think, but I took note. Okay, goth. I heard big problem. And then I saw a dark-haired individual with kind of just messy hair, really like shaggy, messy hair. It wasn't necessarily long. It was just shaggy, messy, like unkempt. She tells me that the individual that assaulted her stood eye to eye with her. She could look straight into his eyes, and they were black. Okay, they were black. Am I getting everything? Okay. Oh, And the other thing too that she showed me was, or that I saw when I saw her being bound, was that her shirt was kind of like ripped open and was just kind of, I don't know if it was unbuttoned or if it was ripped open, but it was just kind of hanging. And there was blood here. She showed me that. Okay. And I just want to say one more time, although it was such a terrible image to see, there was a brutal assault that took place, an absolute brutal assault. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys the sketches that I made. Okay, so the first thing I saw was this key ring, this ring of keys. Okay, so I'm going to show you that first, but there's something else on this page I don't want you to see quite yet, so I'll show you. So the key ring looked like that. Okay, it was like a silver, it was about this big, a silver key ring, and it had a bunch of keys on it, and they all kind of look the same. They just look like a bunch of the same keys. Okay, for some reason that is very important. Okay, this is the knife that I saw. I did it the best I could, but it had a black handle with silver buttons going down it, and that's what I'm trying to portray there. And I'm not a huge expert on knives, but I'm pretty sure that it was a switchblade type knife. Okay, and I almost want to say that's true to size right there. I tried to do it true to size. Okay. All right, then there was this. She showed me how her hands were bound. They were bound like this with an orange extension cord. I wrote extension cord wrapped around it. I had a pair of binoculars come into my awareness. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Here's the can of chili. I am not an artist, you guys, so don't judge me on my art. Okay, I tried. And then she showed me this broken cell phone. Now this cell phone was the kind that would flip open, and that's what I tried to portray there. Okay, so okay. The other thing she showed me, and I'm not sure exactly how this fits in, but it was okay, first of all, I'm going to tell you. So, my father owned a construction company my whole life. His company was in business for almost 30 years. And although, for the last 15 years of my life, I've had no contact with him, it was my first job ever working for my dad. All of me and my sisters worked for my dad's company at some point or another. And I know a little bit about the ins and outs of how a construction company works and how contracting works and subcontracting works and about the tools they use to build the houses. And I did it as a job. It was like my first job. Part of my job was to collect up my dad's tools at the end of the day and put them away wherever they needed to be, and different things like that. So she showed me a specific type of hammer. Okay, and I thought, that is the weirdest hammer, because most hammers will have a handle, and then they have the part that I don't even know what you'd call it, the head of the hammer, the part that hits the nails in, and then on the other side they'll have like you know what I mean, like the fork that splits so that you can reach down and pull the nail and pull it out. This hammer looked different. This was a much different type of a hammer. Instead of having that what would it be called? Those two teeth that come out on the other side of a hammer. I should have grabbed a hammer and brought it in here. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that, but this is important. For some reason, this is very significant. So this is what a regular hammer looks like. This is what I was trying to talk about. The two teeth that come out, you fit the nail in, and you pull up on the nail. And this is the head of the hammer, right? Okay, this is a regular hammer. It did not look like this. Instead, this part came out and was flat and bent down, and it had a split in it. So I'm going to show you. That is the best I could do drawing it. But it did not come to a point. It came out to a squared, like that. Okay, so that's the difference. It came out, it was flat here, completely flat, and almost to a square with the split being right here. Okay, so I went and did some searching to try to figure out what the heck kind of hammer is that, because I didn't quite understand or didn't quite recognize it at first. That is a drywall hammer. Okay, that is a drywall hammer. And it took me a minute to figure that out. I had to go do some Googling, looking through images of hammers, and I seen it, and that was it. That's the type of hammer she was showing me, was a drywall hammer. I feel like that is very telling, very telling. Because there's a lot of speculation that this occurred. That what happened to her was at the hands of some construction workers who were migrants, who were not, they were subcontracted, so they didn't even really know their real names. And these were people that would come and work a job and be gone, and they were in and out all the time. And there's been a lot of speculation that that's who she was the victim of. Okay, this is the last picture I'm going to show you guys, and this is it. Okay, what she shows me is a small, not real small, but smaller looking lake. And it had, so what you're seeing here is that there were trees in this lake. It wasn't even a lake, it was more like a swampy area. Okay, but it is a body of water because there were alligators in it. And with a grassy edge, they were showing me this grassy edge where these alligators were. And this lake or pond or swamp had a lot of, the reason why I have the green spots in the water is because it looked like there was a lot of algae laying on the water, like a lot of green algae. Like the water looked black in contrast to these green algae, spots of algae. And what I was seeing was the tops of the heads and just the back portion of these big, I don't know if they're alligators or crocodiles. I don't know what's down in Florida. But one of the, either alligators or crocodiles, but they were huge. But what I was seeing was them kind of coming up out of this algae and looking around. And so I saw that scene, but there's trees growing, big trees, little trees. And so that makes me feel like it's a swampy type area. And she is telling me that this is where she is. So that's where she's at. I asked her, where are you? Where is your body? Where are you? And she told me that's where she's at. And she said she's not the only one. So, and she did tell me that at one point in time, they were very close to finding her. Okay, she did tell me that. Okay, is that it? All right, so next what I have, guys, is some questions I'm going to ask. And I'm going to go ahead and use the Oracle decks and the Tarot to do that. So this video might actually end up being a two-part because I'm already 30 minutes in. And, yeah, if I make it too long, no one will watch it. So, okay. I'm just looking here at my cards to see which ones I'm going to be drawn to. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm taking all your time up, I know. All right, so I'm going to actually pull from 2, possibly 3, actually. I'm going to grab that one too. Okay. All right, so where is, oh, sorry. I do want to go ahead and just, all right, in this here now moment, as I tap in to the source consciousness, to the higher realms, to the knowledge that's already in me, and ask for it to come forward. I ask that only beings of love and light and high vibration participate. I thank you so much for my unconditionally loving team of guides. And asking Archangel Michael to come in and place a bubble of protection around me, around anyone watching, around my family, And I thank you very much. All right. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to sage the cards a little bit before I pull out of them. All right, so the first one I'm going to pull out of you guys is the Wisdom Oracle. And I'm just asking for an energy. An overall energy. Before I go into all these questions that are very specific, what do I need to focus on maybe that is not in my awareness, or do I need to bring to the forefront, or maybe what do I need to know that I haven't, what questions do I need to ask that I don't have on my list, anything like that. I'm just tapping into the overall energy of this and the wisdom behind it. So let's see what we can get. Okay, Jennifer Kesse. Ooh. Ha, wow. Okay, like I said, Jennifer is definitely in spirit. I want to say that she hasn't quite, she's still tethered to the earth plane. Even though it's been 17 years, her family being so dedicated and devout and working, literally their whole lives are surrounded by this, and her being so well known, there's been a lot about her in the news for years. It has really kind of kept her energy tethered to this lifetime. So she hasn't quite been released from that yet, and that is what this card is telling me. Between worlds. She hasn't moved on. She hasn't quite moved on. She's still working through that attachment, and her energy is being pulled on by the family and by the people in the community and by anyone who's reading on her and any of that. She's stuck between worlds. Funny thing is, I pulled this card yesterday. I did a little private reading for myself because I had dreamt about a 25-ish, 24-ish looking young lady with blonde shoulder-length hair. I had seen the keys. I had seen all of it. Anyways, I pulled cards on these things I was saying, okay? And this was one of the cards I pulled. Absolutely. So, yes, I feel like she is definitely still tethered to this lifetime. Doesn't necessarily mean she's earthbound spirit, but that's a possibility. It's been a long time, but it's definitely a possibility. And that's what I get out of that one. So let's go. Definitely feel like she is between worlds. Definitely. She has not moved on from this. She has not received any justice or any. Mostly she was worried about her family. Mostly she's worried about her family. At one point, her boyfriend came under heavy speculation, but he's been cleared. Okay, there was some kind of something going around about her brother and a friend of her brother's who was actually an ex-boyfriend of hers, who had came and stayed in her apartment and partied around in Orlando, had come and stayed in her apartment while she was on vacation. Her brother's friend had left a phone in the apartment, which was a work issued phone, and he had just gotten it, and her brother had called her and said, hey, so and so left his phone. I think his name was Travis. Left his phone in your apartment. Can you go see if it's there? He can't find it. She found it. She's like, yeah, I have it. I'll just have to mail it to him. And he said that she said she was going to mail it from work that day. There was like a place she could mail it from that was like right by her place of work. She was supposed to mail it from work. Okay. For me, I feel like that is what she forgot and went back into the house to get. I do. I feel like that is and that's why I was given that image of that picture of the cell phone. Different cell phone than what we use nowadays, but definitely got a strong picture of the cell phone. And I want to say that it was purple, but I could be wrong. I was seeing purple. But my cell phone case is purple, so it might just be because my cell phone case is purple that I was seeing that. I'm not sure. All right, I'm going to ask for, again, we're going to take that. I'm going to ask again for a basic energy. This is the energy oracle. One more. What do I need to focus on? A basic energy for Jennifer Kesse. Just a basic energy surrounding this case. That might be all I'm going to get. Oop, okay. Oh, wow. Okay. So I got card number 12, which adds up to a 3, and this is a card number 3. So that's different. What it says is the temple path. And it looks like a picture. It's a picture of a gazebo, and there's paths. The temple path. I am not. Let me see real quick. Let's read this and see what it says. Let's read what it says. Spiritual purpose and support. Okay, receiving this card represents your own spiritual evolution. Okay, I pulled this right after the Between Worlds. She's still working through this. She's still trying to. She's restless. Okay, so she's between worlds. She's still working on her journey. So it says, the winding path you are on leads to a blessed temple in a lovely garden, symbolizing the spiritual destiny of your soul and has had in mind for this lifetime. Like I said, I feel like she's still tethered to this lifetime. It says the card upright is here to tell you that what you're going through now is all part of your soul's process. So she's still processing. It says you are on your karmic path and heading in the right direction, and that the choices you make now are important for your personal growth and life lessons. It says the lights around the temple represent the spiritual world, your family members and friends, angels, and guides. Oh, isn't that awesome? She does really stress the closeness that she had with her family. And it says to call upon your guides to assist you. This is a wonderful, life-expanding time, so keep in mind your personal priorities as well as your spiritual connection. So I feel like that is just her basic energy, is that she's kind of stuck between worlds right now. She's working through this spiritual journey. The next card I pulled, the other card I pulled was, this one actually fell out first. It just kind of popped out right when I grabbed the deck. It's card number 53, which adds up to an 8. 8 is prosperity, abundance, manifestation, authority, power, intuition. Also, it could be giving and receiving. But on this one, it says magician and the mirror. Oh, weird. Very weird. Okay, do you see the necklace he's wearing? It looks just like mine. What? It literally looks, same color, blue. It looks just like mine. Weird. Magician in the mirror. What? Let's see what that one says. Card number 53. Knowing and using your true power. Oh, this card upright represents the culmination of your personal and spiritual power at this time. In the magician's left hand is the flame of passion and action. In his right hand is a vortex of water and the light of reflection. That's important. That's important. The water, the vortex of water. That's important, okay? That's definitely important. Water is an important element. I've picked up on water quite a bit. So, okay, so water is emotions and is also cups and tarot. Water element is Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And like I said, it's about emotions, emotional responses to life, instinct, moods, feelings, imagination, empathy, all those things, the sensitivity. Water could be a nurturing energy. But I do feel like picking up on the water. Okay, what did it say? Is the flames of passion and action. action water. That's what I get off that card. Okay. So take that for whatever. That's what I get off that card. And I'm going to say that I feel like, I honestly feel like her body is in water. I seen her in water. Okay, the last one I'm going to pull from real quickly, just getting another, this I'm asking for the energy around where her physical body is right here and now. This is the Enchanted Map deck, and I would like to know something about where her physical body is, the remnants of her physical body, or any kind of evidence of her physical body, where that is on this planet right now. And let's see if we can get anything in the map deck. See if we can get any hits on okay. I pulled 3, but I'm only going to take 1 because the other 2 fell out. I'm going to pull the first one that came out. And this is very significant to me. It's card number 50. It says compass on it. It's got the zodiac wheels. It's pointing to, I believe, Aquarius. There's a little bird. Oh no, that's not a bird. That's a frog. There's a little frog, speckled frog on the bottom of the compass. It looks like the compass is inside of water. And frogs are amphibious. Okay. This card came in because there's something I failed to tell you guys. Well, it's not that I failed to tell you, I just haven't mentioned it yet. The can of chili. You guys wondering, what the heck was that all about? Okay. I decided, okay, first of all, I saw a little video that Crystal Aberg, aka Dark Rose, had done the other day about this case where she had given the name of a ranch. She had called it Seminole Ranch, okay? Now, I had that in the back of my mind that she had said that. And so in, my meditation, I was asking if this Seminole Ranch is possibly the location of her. And I kind of felt like it was, but I also kind of felt like it wasn't. I felt like it tied in some way. So I went and Googled the area that she was in. I Googled the area around Seminole Ranch, which is not very far from Orlando where this happened, and to see if I could get any feelings off of it, if I could get any hits. And I could not believe it when looking at the ranch, and I will insert some pictures of this right here as I'm talking about it. While looking at the maps, not the ranch, sorry, the maps, I found a map of a place called Nally. Wait, where did that go? Nally Lake, okay? I felt really drawn to this map where it said Nally Lake. There's other little lakes around it, but the word Nally stuck out to me. Why? Because of the Nally chili. That's why. When I saw Nally, the first thing when I saw on the map Nally, instantly in my head, I saw the can of chili. And I'm like, you are shitting me. Okay, somehow this Nally place is involved, okay, because she brought that to my attention. It took me a little bit of work to get to what that meant with the chili, but that's what it meant. I complete goosebumps talking about it. I know that's what she was alluding to by showing me the chili, the Nally chili. Okay, Nally. I needed to know that word. I went mapping and I found Nally. What's weird is right up from the map, and I'll show it in this picture. On this map, there is a Seminole Street. And right below that is a Crystal Street. That, I broke out in goosebumps from head to toe. I couldn't believe that. I'll put that in right here. Boing. There you go. Yes. Wow. That really, okay. I'm going to tell you what I think. I think that this girl was taken. I think that someone got into her car when she went back into her apartment. I think that she didn't realize it. She was in a hurry because she woke up late. And I think that they interceded her being able to go to work. And I think that they took her to another complex, another apartment complex somewhere else. Because I seen that someone in this apartment doing work on this apartment, but they were actually living in this apartment too. And it just looked differently than hers. It looked differently than what I was seeing hers as. I was seeing hers as more like a luxury type condominium. This was more like a kind of like a Skid Row looking place, but it was also either being worked on or it was just really bad shape. But I feel like she was taken somewhere else. And then I feel like she was transported after that to this area where this Nally Lake or Nally Swamp or Nally area is. Okay. So the compass showing me the little frog, Aquarius being water, and me mapping just reiterates for me that I hit on that. So, woohoo! Awesome. All right, guys. Okay, so I'm going to put those away, and I'm going to go ahead and start with my questions. I'm going to go with the Lightworkers Tarot first. I don't know what happened to it. I lost the box for this, and I can't remember the name of the creator. I'm sorry. I'll try to figure it out and put it in the description. Okay, so the first question that I really have is, because I feel like this was happening with the binoculars. With the binoculars that I was shown, I feel like she was being watched. She was being observed from afar. And that's the first question I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask, was Jenny... I pulled the Magician. What? The Magic Mirror? Or I just dropped the Magician. The Magician is about creativity. Focused creativity. Turning illusions into reality, or turning fantasies into reality. Yeah. I think she was being watched. I think she was being stalked. Yes. Ask again. Was Jen being stalked or watched or observed from afar? Oh, got the High Priestess. High Priestess is secrets. High Priestess is mysteries. Yeah, this is a yes for me. This is absolutely a yes for me. I feel like, first of all, the Magician card is a yes card. Okay. For me, this is a yes. She was being watched in secret. Someone was secretly watching her. Do you see the third eye? You see? Someone was watching her. Okay, that's our answer for that one. Oh my gosh, this is already 56 minutes in. Okay. Okay, so I think we got that answer. Now, did she get a knock at her door the night before? Did she actually get a knock at her door the night before? Was it her neighbor? Did she get a knock at the door the night before? Oh, wow. Yeah, she did. I got the Strength card. That's a yes card. Okay. And it says unquestioned confidence on it. But for me, the Strength card can be about many things. But one of the things that I'm picking off this is the Strength card can be about self-love. It can be about taking care of yourself, being strong enough to take care of yourself. I feel, and then see this person is running and dodging what looks like a paintball gun that's being shot at him or something like that. I feel like the answer to that question is yes. Somebody knocked on her door. This is a yes card. Somebody knocked on her door. She dodged answering it because she was taking care of herself. She was too tired. So I feel like that's a yes on that. Absolutely. Who was it that knocked on her door? Who was it that knocked on her door? Wow, I got 9 of Cups. Okay, this is about wishes granted. Now, what did I just say? The Magician is about making your fantasies come true. Manifesting wishes granted. Was it the people that were watching her? 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 Was it the people that were watching her that knocked on her door? Oh, geez. Ooh, I got the Chariot. On this card, it says persevering willpower. Willpower. Now, ooh, okay. The Chariot card is about, it could be about a vehicle. It'd be about a car. So was it the person that took her in her car? Maybe that's what this is saying, is that it was the person who took her in her car. When I asked who it was, this person was watching her, wanted her. And I feel like they were waiting in her car. I feel like it was an opportunity that she left her door unlocked and went back into her house. The Chariot can also be about action, change, taking action, moving forward. Yeah. It could be about journey. It could be about, being on a journey. But, okay. I feel like the answer to that is the person who knocked on her door was the same person that took her in her car, that went in her car. I do feel that. Was the person who knocked on her door the same person that was in her car? Oh boy. Okay. So I got the Eight of Swords. Okay. Eight of Swords is normally a no card. But this is about imprisonment. This is about being imprisoned. This is about, it could be about being in a self-imposed imprisonment, but it doesn't have to be self-imposed. This is about imprisonment. Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I feel like the person that was watching her was also the person that knocked on her door, was also the person that was in her car, and was also the person that imprisoned her. Okay. Okay, let me move forward. Okay, there's much speculation about this because they don't have a frame of reference except for the night before when she spoke to her boyfriend on the phone. So for her, as far as timelines, their only frame of reference that is concrete is the phone call, and of course they found it in the records, phone records, the phone call that took place between her and her boyfriend the night before. There was no more phone calls that was made after that, or texts or anything that was made after that. None the next day at all. So there's much speculation about whether or not what happened to her the night before, during the night, or in the morning of. I feel like it happened to her the morning of. I really do. That's what I saw. That's what I pick up on. I also just logically think that because there was a wet towel, there was water in the shower, there was clothes laid out on the bed, everything was kind of left in a mess. They also said there was like makeup strewn all over the bathroom counter, which was kind of not like her. She was normally quite neat, but she was telling me she woke up late. She was overslept and she was in a hurry. So she was just like getting ready to go and out the door. And yeah, so I'm going to ask, did she disappear during the night or in the morning? Did what happened to her happen the night or the next morning? Did what happened to her, did she disappear in the night or the next morning? Did she disappear in the night or the next morning? Holy shit. Okay, I got the Page of Wands. Okay. Rapid fire planning. Rapid fire planning. That's what it says on this card. Do you see what this guy's doing? Yes, it's a child. It may be the mentality of the person was childlike. They're constructing a building. They're doing construction. Rapid fire planning happens when it's a spur of the moment crime of opportunity. This happened in the morning. This happened in the morning when she was, I cannot say 100%. I'm just saying, in my opinion, my intuition tells me this happened in the morning. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do a few more questions and then I'm going to come back and do a part 2. Okay. When she made it, okay, so when she got into her car, Was there someone in her car? When she came back to her car, was there someone in her car? Was there someone in her car? Wow. Okay. Wow. I got the Hanged Man. Okay. On the card, it says rewarded sacrifice. And there is a person who has, well, okay. So the Hanged Man is about wisdom. It's about self-sacrifice. But it's about getting a different perspective. So maybe she didn't see them until she got in the car. But the Hanged Man lies in wait. They wait. They pull themselves out of a situation and they lie in wait. So that's that. I'm going to ask again. Was there someone in her car waiting for her? Was there someone in her car waiting for her? Yes, absolutely. I got the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is self-defense, protection, protecting yourself. It can be competition, but it is mostly self-defense and protecting yourself. And this is a yes card. Yes, I feel like there was someone in the car. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Did she recognize the person that was in the car? Did she recognize the person that was in the car? Ha, the Hermit. Soul searching. Wow. This picture is something else. Okay, there's a flashlight on the ground at her feet. She is not wearing any clothes. She's sitting in a chair, and she's in the dark. And there's a window open in the back of it. The Hermit card is about going within. It's about like being on a quest for personal truth. It can be about spiritual growth. That doesn't quite answer my question, though, of whether or not she recognized her attacker. Maybe soul searching. Maybe she recognized him vaguely. Maybe she thought she knew him, or she recognized him vaguely. But I don't feel that. I feel like she knew who he was. I'm going to ask that a different way. Okay. I'll go ahead and put these back into the deck in case I need them for another question. And I will continue to use this deck as long as I feel like I'm getting answers. I have other decks sitting here just in case. This is the one I was drawn to, though. I said, did she recognize the person that was in her car? I got Two of Cups. Perfect partnership. I feel like this was two individuals who did this. I feel like it was initially one who called in the help of another. Absolutely. And it's a yes card. I do feel like she knew. She recognized these people. She knew who they were. She knew who it was. Okay. How did she recognize it? I mean, how did she know this person? In what way or how did she know this person? In what way or how did she know this person? Oh my God, we got the Chariot again. Yes, this person was in her car waiting for her. We got Two of Coins. This is two energies. Wow. So Two of Coins is about, on this card it says setting priorities, but Two of Coins is about making a choice. A choice was made. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so Two of Coins. Yeah, it's a, Two of coins can be multitasking. It could be multitasking. Oh my God. How did she know him? Multitasking? Maintenance man? Are you freaking kidding me? What? Was it a maintenance man? Absolutely. Eight of Wands. That's a yes card. It was a maintenance man. And it happened fast. Spur of the moment. This was a spur of the moment crime of opportunity. This person had already been watching her, knew her comings and goings, knew her routine. Intuitively, I've picked all this up in different meditations. This person, she knew who this person was. This was a maintenance man. Wow. Okay, I'm going to ask one more way. I'm sorry if you can hear my garbage company emptying the dumpster outside. If it's really loud, and they'll be gone in a minute. Okay. I'm going to ask, was there a major struggle inside of her car? I feel like she made it to her car. Was there a major struggle that was witnessed by the other couple who reported it? Was there a major struggle in the car that was witnessed by the other couple who reported it? Oh my God, you're kidding me. Now I've got the Seven of Wands. All in, determined. Okay, so the Seven of Wands, okay. Seven of Wands is self-defense. Trying to protect yourself. But it's also about all in, being all in. All in for me. Okay, it's a yes card. I asked if she was, if there was a struggle, or if what they said or what they reported that they saw was her. Yes, I feel like that was an accurate report. I feel like they witnessed her during the moment where she was being overtaken. And she was trying to, because I'm seeing her, the steering wheel going like this as someone's coming up from behind her. And I'm seeing a knife being put to her throat. This person was completely determined to make his fantasies come true. Absolutely. And the Wands is about creativity, fire, which fire is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Yeah, I do. I feel like that's that they witnessed it. That's a yes for me. That was an accurate. Sorry about that. That was an accurate. I was just getting little. I feel like that there possibly could have been someone else who saw maybe when the car was parked, but they are not quite aware that that's what they were witnessing. Because the car was taken not very far away, but it was taken, I want to say, not very far away. And she was taken from that car at knife point into a very dilapidated, rundown, or in the process of being renovated apartment where she was kept. Yeah. And the second one I pulled again was the Hangman again, which is rewarded sacrifice. So I feel like this person, asking if there was a okay, so now I'm seeing somebody going through a cell phone, somebody going through, like they can't get it to work, or somebody's messing with a cell phone, trying to get a cell phone to work, trying to figure out how to open it, maybe how to get the password, something like that. Someone's trying to get a cell phone, and they can't get past the password. I don't know how that comes in, but I just got a real good vision of that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and ask one more. Okay. This was just some other questions that other people had asked, that had been asked, or that came up by other people. It was speculated that she was possibly actually never left the condominium and was kept inside of an empty condominium that was in the process of being renovated or being built, that she was being kept in there when the police came and searched her house and stuff. So I'm going to ask, did she leave the condominiums? However fashion that it took, either in her car under duress or in her car on her own, did she leave the condominiums that morning? Did her body leave? Did her physical self leave the condominiums, or was she still there when the police came to do the search of her condominium? Was she there being kept in another empty condominium, or had she left? Had she been taken away? Ace of Wands. Do you see this girl is getting ready to run a race? She's getting ready to run. She's getting ready to go. I think she was taken. You see the apartments in the back, condominiums all along the back. Motivated beginning, it says on here. Now, the Ace of Wands is about a new creation. It could be about like a new job, an inspiration. It's definitely an inspired action. Yeah, I don't think she was kept in the condominiums. I think she was taken somewhere else. And then we got the Six of Coins. The Six of Coins is about giving and receiving help. Somebody helped relocate her. I feel like somebody helped. There was two individuals in this. There's two energies I'm picking up on. I feel like one initiated this situation and then one was pulled into it. And then they helped each other to cover it up. Okay, I'm just going to ask one more question. Were there two individuals involved in the crime against Jennifer? Were there two individuals involved in the crime against... I'm hearing Spanish again. I'm hearing Spanish speaking. We have no Spanish speaking people in these apartments, okay? I promise you. Were there two individuals involved? Were there two individuals involved in Jennifer's crime? Was there two individuals? Yeah, King of Cups. We got King of Cups. This is peaceful diplomacy. So the King of Cups, he's a helper. He's empathetic. He is very tolerant. He will go along. But he is, he's very supportive. He's a support person. So I do feel like this individual who was giving and receiving help had somebody supporting him in this action. Absolutely do feel that. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it at that. I still have 20 questions, and then I have another thing I want to do, and I want to pick up I want to pick up my pendulum and do some questions with that as well at the end of this. I think this is absolutely coming out exactly how I thought it would so far. And yeah, so come back and watch part 2, and I'm going to finish asking all these questions. I've got a bunch of things I want to know, and then I'm going to try to do a pendulum and possibly another channeling session at the end if I can make it happen. So thanks for watching so far. Go and look up Jennifer Kesse and do some research on her case if you have time. This family really deserves answers. I feel like they got really close to getting them at one point. And that is going to go in line with some questions I have in the next video. So thank you so much for watching. And thank you, Crystal, for bringing this to my attention. The fact that I picked up Seminole Road right next to Crystal Road, right next to Nowlie Lake. Oh, and by the way, I'll add this in right now. I also ended up finding out what goth was. I kept hearing goth. This Nowlie Lake is located in a place called Gotha, Florida. Gotha. So, Crystal, I don't know if you're familiar with any of these places. I know that you're from down in that area. I don't know if you're from the exact area of Orlando. I think I heard you say you're from a different part of the state. I don't know if you are aware of any of these places that I've mentioned, but I'm going to put some pictures of the maps that I found in here. And yeah, so put in the comments if there's any questions that anybody wants me to ask or add to my list of questions for the part 2 to this video, and I will be coming back with a part 2 very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and wishing everybody out there love and light. Bye.